Umzwandile kaJongwe from One Day SOPOPA.
Igama ngumzwandile wakaJongwe. I'm from Springs in Guatemala. I'm a hustlerpreneur, just like all of us in the room. Being a hustlerpreneur for me means starting where you are with what you have and grow towards the direction you want to go to. No excuses, no limitations. I've learned in my experience as an entrepreneur, winners are actually people who have realized their limitations but focus on their strengths. While on the other hand, losers are people who realize their strengths but focuses on their weaknesses. And I believe as township entrepreneurs in the room here, we have realized our limitations. But more importantly, it's not our limitations that matter. It's not our limitations that are important to us. It's our strengths. We are trying to grasp this concept called entrepreneurship. Majority of us here are the first generation entrepreneurs in our family. We have never seen an uncle, we've never seen an aunt, we've never seen a father, we have never seen a mother who has championed this thing called entrepreneurship. And when we went to school, majority of us, we went to register for courses that are going to prepare us to work for other people. But the unfortunate reality of unemployment is that not all of us made it. Try and take risks, calculated risks. Little do we know, this thing called entrepreneurship is a very big monster. It's very challenging, and to a certain point it's frustrating and stressing. But many of us, we are learning things as we are coming across them. It requires one to learn on the daily basis, not only from the classroom, but we also need to learn from one another. I believe with One Day SOPOPA, and it's not all of us about SOPOPA, but at least I try. Collaborations are the new black, and as a black generation, it's time we realize that black is a new thing, so if collaboration is a new black and we are black, it means we must start creating collaborations amongst ourselves. Instead of me going for the Chinese imports, let me identify a brother or a sister who can run a CMT company and manufacture my stuff. Personally, I am not a seamstress, I'm just a creative, I'm a visionary. I think things, I contact a graphic designer, I meet somebody who can sew, I tell them what I want to do, and what I've got in mind, and then they create it. The biggest problem is funding. How do we access funding? How do we get money to scale up the ideas that we have? How do we get resources to access market? It's another challenge. Remember, how big is the clothing and textile industry, Bafwetu? It's huge. This industry is big, but here's something for us to think about. All of us in this room here are wearing something. Now the question is, who has made the items you are wearing? Are you conscious when you make your decision to make a purchase? Who has made this? Do you look at the label? Do you look at the brand? And if I'm a creator, why am I not buying locally produced products? What am I contributing to this sector? Am I contributing or am I minusing from this sector? These are critical questions that somehow, even Guatina as creators, we subconsciously forget these things when we make purchases. We are just butotungayo, sisotungayo, how do you become a brand? How do you change from being just a nobody otungayo to be a particular brand? What are your aspirations as a brand? What are your signatures? What are your style? And believe me, Bafwetu, as South Africans, we are still lucky. Even though we are caught in this quagmire of there's imports that are coming, not only cheap ones. Don't only think when I'm talking about imports or the threat is only Chinese. There are big brands as well that are milking the economy of our country. Very huge and very big brand, and they're coming into this country on a daily basis. They are making it. So are we a country that doesn't have money, or we are a country that doesn't prioritize their own? David Tlale, they have done it, Skinny Sbu have done it, those are brands, those are brands. But mina nangfika nguzwai, uzwai kaJongwe. Yes, we are creative, yes, we are innovative, but are we using our creativity and our innovation to command the attention of the world, or we want to adapt to what the world is telling us is in style this year? So that's where our challenge is. We've got culture, heritage, language, a whole lot of things. For me, I can think like when I meet somebody who does not understand what One Day SOPOPA means and says, what does One Day SOPOPA means? It's an opportunity for me to engage that person. It's an opportunity for me to educate that person. It means I am selling something that this person does not know. I am speaking a language that this person is interested in. But still, I may not be scratching their surface, because I'm still existing in the same space. It may be the same jacket they can find somewhere in Australia. It's just the language that is different. So we also need to look at those things. What do we have at our disposal? What do we have in our immediate surroundings? I remember some few years ago, in one of the training sessions that we used to go, we actually promoted a lot of think local, act global type of thinking. What is it that you've got local that will sell globally? And a lot of our people did not realize, but we've got lots of assets as creatives that we can sell internationally. In fact, it took the very same international designers to come into our country, pay attention to what we are not paying attention to. Batatin batata zetu basnikezo Louis Vuitton, batatin ngobo zethu zabasuthu. You understand? Those are African assets. Tina clearly, because we are taking it for granted. We are looking at this thing and we're thinking, man, it was a Makosa. What can I? Makosa Laduma looked at his immediate surrounding and said, what? This is culture. How do I use culture to influence trends in the world? And Abanyebetu, we want to compete globally, yet we have been conquered locally. Build your brand locally so that it's so strong. Make sure you play around. You understand? And make sure you have built your product to heights that even when you begin to go internationally, you don't have to introduce yourself. Your product will actually introduce you.